Hello, it is Friday, May 6th, 2022. I'm Chris Remo, and welcome back to the New York Times Crossword Daily Solve. It is a Friday puzzle, so it is a tricky one, possibly, but not themed. No theme today. This unthemed edition of the Daily Solve has been brought to us by Bradley Pirtle, Trash Snack, and, as always, the inestimable Hood Monster and the invaluable Timothy Mark. So thank you so much to the four of them, benefactors of the Daily Solve Patreon campaign, for bringing us this edition of the Daily Solve. And if you'd like to join their ranks as a patron, you can find that at patreon.com/dailysolve, and there you can get access to all of the bonus videos that have gone up on the channel to date, as well as the new ones that go up each week. And I think already up on there is the monthly bonus puzzle, the New York Times monthly bonus puzzle for May. And by the time this video is up, there should be the last Boss Words Spring Themeless League competition puzzle. My time was pretty good. Got one wrong. It was a very, very silly mistake. Very frustrated at myself for that. But you can watch that on the Patreon channel now if you're a member. And the weekly speed solve should go up today as well. So look out for that if you're a patron. So all sorts of videos going up. And you get those, you get the extra channel in the Daily Solve Discord chat server, but of course, the rest of the Discord community is free to join. And it's also free to subscribe to this channel. Thank you. Number of new comments from new viewers in the comments yesterday. That was very nice to see. Thank you to everybody who has joined the channel recently. Welcome and do subscribe. And thanks for joining. Number of people who say they don't even solve the crossword, so that's always fun. Glad to be entertaining people with some fairly sedate, hopefully somewhat informative and entertaining content. All right, let's get on to today's puzzle. It's a Friday puzzle, which means, as I said, it is unthemed and probably the trickiest puzzle we've solved yet this week. It's a debut puzzle by Aaron Allman. First time crossword constructor, at least first time for the New York Times. And it was edited, as always, by Will Shorts. So let's go. Let's get started. Okay, blueprint. I don't know, a sort of a mimeograph, maybe? That's a outdated precursor to photocopies. Those were blue. I don't think that's right. Water wings, for example. A swimming aid, a floaty, maybe? No, that doesn't fit. I'm not sure. Toasted treat. Toasted treat. A crumpet that fits. I don't know. Japanese for teacher. Sensei? Is it? Which way is it? Setting for a shot. F-stop, maybe. A setting on a camera. It's related to the aperture. Historic Kingdom of Spain. Why don't I see that? And most populous Canadian province. Is it Ontario? That would make sense. Probably that or British Columbia, I'm guessing, would be the most populous. I'm not sure. So to speak. As something. Oh, maybe this is floaty with a Y. Yeah, okay. Maybe that's right. My instinct may have been on the money, but spelling was incorrect. Traffic light. Yellow is an example of a light. Doesn't really fit with sensei, though. Sound. So sound obviously could mean audio. It could mean a sound, something you hear, but it could also mean secure or of sound mind, that sort of thing. True. Bearing. So this could mean you're bearing something, you're holding something, bearing gifts, you're bringing gifts, or it could mean bearing as in a heading or particular, your composure, your bearing. What about this? Suck up in a way. Boy, these we're in true themeless territory in that so many of the clues could have so many different possible meanings, because suck up could mean the way that a vacuum cleaner does, but it could also mean suck up as in endure. And the in a way gives it even wider latitude. What about some of the downs? Turn on for a bartender. A spigot, maybe? I mean, they could have a soda water dispenser or something like that. Turn on. It's question marks. So some kind of pun or wordplay. So turn on probably doesn't mean something that turns you on in a metaphorical sense. It's probably literally something they turn on. But I'm not sure. Big epoch for mammals. This will be geological era, I guess. Or does it mean a phase in the life of a given mammal, maybe? Hypothetical missing links. So this, I don't know, maybe sort of yetis or something, I'm not sure. Or Bigfoot or something, big feet. Probably not. Chain parts, abbreviation. Chain letters. Chain stores. This is the life. Could just be something like that, or with 2 A's maybe. Lacking literary sparkle. Could be trite, maybe. Dry writing, trite. Don't know. Maybe I'll just keep going through the puzzle and see if something eventually grabs me. Author of The Kitchen God's Wife. I don't know. In 3 letters, writing around that time, I don't know. Amy Tan, maybe? So to speak. As stated? Not necessarily accurate. I'm sort of just, because of my random stab at Tan. Initialism that might have a ring to it. Question mark, so another bit of punnery or wordplay. This isn't going my way. There's no coming back from this. Point of no return or something like that. 1,000 hours. Don't know. Is there a unit of defined by 1,000 hours? Scale notes. Could be fa, la, that sort of thing. Or do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. That could be those notes of a scale. Agent of immunity. A T cell? Traffic light. Did I just hear him say that? Principle indicating no second chances. You only live once, or I don't know, just do it or something? Oops. Outer border for 36 across. 36 across. See-through items. Probably ends in an S. Doctors. Fixes. Outer border. 2-time Olympic gymnast Raisman. Not sure. I mean, I may or may not know this. What did we see have up here? Okay. So sensei almost certainly ends in an I. Floaty. I don't... Oh, it says water wings. Does that mean it's plural? Floats. I don't really think of it as being called that, but a traffic light would be a signal, a traffic signal. Bearing. Toting something around, bringing it around. Boy, that G was very helpful because it almost certainly then needed to be ing. Historic Kingdom of Spain, Leon. That would actually be, that is familiar now that I sort of see almost all the letters. And then sound. It's sound. So it's either a sound or it's sound meaning secure. So if this is an E, which this looks more correct to me for sensei. Sound 10. I just don't see it. That's so frustrating. So to speak, as it. It's a definition, so to speak. As it goes. Oh, so maybe this is Amy Tan. Oh, good guess on my part, I guess. suppose. Initialism that might have a ring to it. Okay, what is this getting at? What is this? The ring is clearly... Oh, a boxing ring, maybe? Maybe it's mixed martial art, as it... Does that work with this? Sound. 10... I don't know. Had some progress there. Okay, agent of immunity, this looked like T cells. So immunity to disease, for instance. Okay. As it... I don't know. Oh, firmly bond. Did I read that as family bond before? I'm not sure. Firmly bond. Cement. And... Oh, wait. Is sound tenable as in... That suggestion is sound. That suggestion is tenable. It's untenable. It's unsound, for instance. All right, so initialism might have a ring to it. So the B might be boxing. American Boxing Association, maybe, so to speak, as it... I don't know, it doesn't really look right. WBA, the World Boxing Association, as it were. Yeah, of course. Why wasn't that the first thing I thought of when I saw so to speak? So you could say, oh, the question mark indicates a pun, so to speak, a pun, as it were. Okay, so did I just hear him say that? Poet who wrote A Child's Christmas in Wales. A Child's Christmas in Wales. Principle indicating no second chances. You can't go home or something? I don't know. Man's name hidden backward in this clue. Oh, this is interesting. Well, this, okay, so does that mean, so, Ansel, there we go. So if you see, or maybe I'll highlight it here in this larger bit. If you look at these letters, and I found this by looking for the N, we have Lesna, and backwards they spell Ansel, the name, as in Ansel Adams. And that's it. That's the whole explanation. So there we go. Alrighty then. Shore something, maybe? Big, I don't know, big could be anything. Romanian Rhapsodies composer. Should I know this? I'm not sure. Wet bar. Oh, a whetstone, like a sharpening stone for knives. Bar, maybe? What would you call that? Grindstone? I guess for, not so much for kitchen knives, but I guess in that case for sort of axes and things, a grindstone. That's the phrase, put your nose to the grindstone, that sort of thing, something like that. This looks like it could be Thomas, poet. Does that help anything? I don't know. Principle indicating no second chances. Don't know. And if this was here, did I just hear him say that? So it could end with here or there or where. Did I just see him say that? I don't know. Cruxes. The crux of an argument could be the gist, maybe. Or the germs, maybe. I guess it could be either of those. Longtime Disney chief Michael Eisner. That sounds right. So gists. Okay, so my first guess, I suppose, was correct. We'll have to see. Gloomy, poetically. Drear, maybe? Does that work with this? Lean against. Rest on? It's fairly straightforward. Alrighty then. So be it. There we go. So be it. Oh, Ionesco, maybe, would be the Romanian Rhapsodies composer. And Big Ben. Oh, the bell in the clock tower at the Houses of Parliament here in London. recently, finally unscaffolded after quite a long time of being covered up, and they've restored the clock faces to their original color scheme, which includes a really vibrant blue. It's absolutely gorgeous. You should look it up. It's really I think it's really beautiful. Anyway, like the days following Mardi Gras, Lent, so Lenten as the adjective, I would think, and descriptor for a champion. Somethingist. We have the part that's the most obvious. Description for a champion. Somethingist. Fatherly tips to use a portmanteau coinage. Fatherly tips. A portmanteau. Dad something? So a portmanteau will be fusing two words together. So that's why I'm wondering if it's a word that includes the word dad and it's a portmanteau of that and something else. Oh, dadvice. There we go. So portmanteau, of course, of dad and advice. Some Best Buy buys TVs. Juice suffix. Aid is in lemonade or limeade. One who loves to bring up the past. A something nerd? A nostalgia nerd? That doesn't fit. What about, greatest. The champion is a greatest. There we go. Short relationship is a fling of some kind, presumably. And two-time Olympic gymnast Raisman. Ollie, maybe? ALI? Just a guess, I'm not sure. One who loves to bring up the past. What is it? Oh, history nerd. Why wasn't that the first thing I thought? Wonder about myself. All right. Maybe it is Allie. Some social media back and forths. Don't know. Might wait to put that in until I have more. Okay, what do we need here? Blank Carter the Third, best-selling Lil Wayne album. I think it's the with an A. And did I just hear him say that? This really looks like there. So this really does look like Thomas, doesn't it? And this looks like Go Home, but I don't... Sorry, just checking my phone just in case. Short relationship, something fling. This will be so obvious when I see it. This is so annoying. Probably rhymes. Something ing fling, I'm guessing. Did I just... Because of the G here is why I think that. Scale notes. T's as in do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Could be. Did I just hear him say that? Oh, he went there? Ah, that's plausible. He went there. Did I just hear him say that? And when we see phrases like this in quotation marks, usually it means the answer is also going to be another spoken phrase that you would use in the same context, and generally it will basically match the tone. These are both fairly modern ways of saying these things. So the tone sort of fits, if you see what I mean. Okay, to court somebody romantically would be to woo them. Sort of, I suppose, different to a short fling, a short relationship. Principle indicating no second chances. Win or go home, I suppose. And Napa excursion, a wine tour maybe. Napa, which was actually referenced earlier this week in a similar context, is a wine growing region in California. Okay, outer border for 36 across. And those are see-through items. See-through panes of glass. Oh, so window frames window frame is the outer border. And then wars, some social media back. Oh, Twitter wars. Okay. There's no coming back from this. A one-way trip. There we go. Suck up in a way. Siphon, as in siphon gas. Short relationship. Oh, spring fling. There we go. And this looks like amends, doesn't it? Yeah, doctors. Changes something, fixes it, amends it. And a surfer girl is a wahine. I'm actually not sure how that's pronounced, but I've seen the word before. It's a Hawaiian word, I would assume. 1,000. Oh, no. It's 1,000 hours. So this is sort of military jargon to say 10 a.m. I see. Right. So would you say that at 1,000? I actually don't know how that's properly spoken aloud. Okay. Turn on for a bartender. Oh, maybe it is a spigot. That was my first guess. Paragon could be a gem? Paragon of virtue. It doesn't quite fit. Big epoch for mammals. Oh, it's going to be the Eocene or something like that. Hypothetical missing links. Oh, ape men, maybe. Right. So missing links evolutionarily, I guess, is what this means. So my sort of Bigfoot thing was essentially in the right neighborhood. Toasted treat, a Pop-Tart. A toasted, I don't know what you'd call it. It's a little pastry thing with fruit filling in the middle. And skating expos. Ice rinks? Oh. No. It'll be ice something. Skating expos. Ice skating, surely, right? What about this? Okay, this looks like... Right, I suppose this is Gem Paragon. This does look like Eocene, doesn't it? And blueprint. C, so the C is the blue bit. Chain parts. Oh, mountain chain, mountains. C map, I guess? All right, a print that is blue, a C map. It's a little vague, but lacking literary sparkle. Oh, prosy. And then it's sort of the opposite of poetic. So this writing's very prosy. It doesn't have that literary sparkle. This is the life. Right, indeed. And then skating expos are ice shows. Okay, I actually don't think I've ever heard that phrase before. But there it is. Okay, so we're finally getting there. Barely make without is eke out. This is a pretty common word in crosswords. Fictional African country of film, Wakanda from Black Panther. And it's always nice when I can get one of these pop culture clues. Took care of a dog or cat, maybe. Pet sat, I suppose. And make lace tat. This must be a sort of sewing thing. And then hair holders are, not sure. Half page, perhaps. An ad unit. You could sell a half page ad in a newspaper or magazine. Decks with major and minor arcana. It must be tarot decks. And subtext maybe. So not subtext, but two separate words. Subtext, in other words, substitute text. So edit, change some text around. And Hawaiian fish, also called the wahoo. I suppose it must be the ono. So hair holders are snoods. Actually, now that I see that is sort of familiar. And there it is, the Friday crossword. Wow, that was a tough start for me, I must say. Very, very difficult break-in. And then, what was it? It was something around... I think it was realizing that floaty wasn't wrong, and my original instinct was that it would be spelled Floaty if you were spelling floaty. The tricky thing about water wings, for example, is that you could see that as singular or plural in the way that pants can be singular or plural, because water wings, you would think of it as being referring to a single set of water wings, or you could think of it as several water wings. And so that really threw me off. So I think I read it initially as the singular version. But floaty with a Y really would have expected that to be an adjective rather than a noun. Would have expected the noun to be IE. So that's why I came back to that. And then floats is what allowed this to start coming together, because we got signal from traffic light. And then toting and everything started. So that was a difficult break-in for me. I mean, it maybe would have been less so if I would have just kept going and solved things at the end of the puzzle. But it came together after that. It never turned into a pushover. It never turned into an easy puzzle, I would say. But but at least at least I got past that initial brick wall that I had run into. Tough one. I think this was tough for a Friday. Tough for me anyway. Let me know how you fared with today's puzzle. And actually, there were quite a few comments from yesterday, so I will move on to those. Let's see what we have. So there was a great deal of conversation and explanation about the Fibonacci sequence. So I'm not going to read all of it because there were just too many. So apologies if I don't get to your comment, but I'll read a few. So the Fibonacci sequence starts with 0, 1. Then by the rule of the sequence, you add the two previous numbers to get the next one. 0 plus 1 equals 1, 1 plus 1 equals 2, 2 plus 1 equals 3. So I was right about how it progresses. And I suppose it just arbitrarily starts with 0, 1, because obviously adding the two previous numbers before 0 does not get you 1. The sequence more technically goes 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, because the first one is adding the two previous numbers, 0 and 1. But this is the best the constructor could do within the constraints of crosswords starting at 1, not 0, indeed. And bend theory adds a bit of clarification here. The Fibonacci sequence is classically defined as a recursive function which requires a base case in order to return or terminate the function and provide a result without infinite recursive function calls. So the base case is Fibonacci, apply it to 0, you get 0. Fibonacci applied to 1, you get 1. In other words, the Fibonacci function, I guess, if you add 1, it returns 1. The Fibonacci sequence is Fibonacci n is equal to the Fibonacci sequence for n minus 1 plus Fibonacci sequence for n minus 2. So I guess that 0 and 1, those are sort of the base case, the kind of termination of the function. And then Xander Grease picks up on something I said and said, the golden ratio is a lot more than just a meme. It is considered the most irrational number and has a habit of turning up in places that you don't expect it, including the Fibonacci's, as this puzzle suggests. It appears in the formula for the nth number in the sequence and also the spiral in today's puzzle. Interesting, Terence Tao, referenced in 42 Across, made a blog post about the golden ratio showing up in the regular pentagon. And yes, I'm sorry if I misspoke. I didn't mean that the golden ratio itself is just a meme. I meant the specific application of that spiral to artwork became sort of a meme, and people shoehorned it into every possible application that they could find. That's all I meant. I didn't mean that anything speaking about the underlying value of the golden ratio or the Fibonacci sequence or anything like that. So apologies if I miscommunicated that. Life is Boss also picks up on that bit about that mathematician. You skipped 42 Across, Terence Blank, which was Tao, another math-themed clue referring to his work on mathematical theories that won him the Fields Medal. Think of it like the Nobel Prize for math. So thank you for picking up on that. A few people noticed I missed out on Terence Tao. I just didn't see the clue at all. Rory Straubel points out GSA is Gay Straight Alliance, a pretty common high school organization that supports LGBTQ causes and people. And Joe Hayes adds, the student-led LGBTQ plus group GSA, Gay Straight Alliance, the first groups were formed in the late 1980s, and they hope to make school communities safer and more welcoming for all students. And indeed, I remember once it was explained as Gay Straight Alliance, I remembered the existence. These are essentially bottom-up clubs that form in high schools. And I just did not remember the acronym, so thank you to everyone who pointed it out. Victoria Rojishka explains that L-DOPA, the medication referenced in yesterday's crossword, is indeed treatment for Parkinson's disease. It's also known as levodopa, which I typed in first and got confused it doesn't fit. I got very excited about knowing something from work that I could fit in my crossword. That is always nice when something overlaps with your particular area of expertise. And Alexis C. added, L-DOPA was a fun clue. Parkinson's is characterized by a dopamine deficit. But neurotransmitters cannot cross the blood-brain barrier, so you can't just give a patient dopamine. L-DOPA is a precursor to dopamine and is converted to dopamine once it enters the nervous system. 2 Nobel Prizes came out of this research, so thank you. And I think, as with the Fibonacci sequence and the golden ratio, there were more posts about L-DOPA as well. And finally, Ask points out, this puzzle doesn't have symmetry. I thought that was an immutable law of the Times crossword. It's a good question or a good supposition, and indeed it is not an immutable law. It is merely a convention. It is a generally fairly rigorously observed convention that the New York Times crossword grid will be symmetrical in some fashion, usually radially symmetric, but could have other forms of symmetry as well. And it is a convention, but not a strict requirement, and it tends to most often be broken on Thursday, because Thursday is when the day on which we're most likely to get a complicated theme that might need or benefit from some abuse of the symmetry convention in order to illustrate something in the grid or fit some complicated words or something else to that effect. Thursday's not the only day we might break the symmetry rule, but I think it would be themed puzzles would by far be the most likely to break it because they might illustrate something related to the theme, and Thursday the most likely day of those. But I think I'm sure that Will Shortz, the editor of the Crossword, requires a pretty good reason in order to break that convention. So typically, when you see that a crossword has no form of symmetry, there will be a reason why, and it might point to something in the theme. So something to look out for. All right, and that's that. That's that for the comments from yesterday's puzzle. There were quite a few comments yesterday, so apologies if I didn't get to yours. But that's it for today's video as well. Thank you for joining me. I will be back tomorrow for the Saturday puzzle. I sure hope it's not too much more difficult than this one, because I found this pretty tricky. And I hope you'll join me one way or the other for that one. Until that point, please do have an excellent remainder of your Friday. Take care.